Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram.
Sometimes we're just miserable because we're miserable, you know. It's not that, oh, it's because this person, this and this, they did this thing and so on. It's just somehow, it's like Jesus was speaking one time. He says, these people, they hate me without reason. You know, it's like, it's not because, you know, they will produce something and say, look, because, you know, he speaks against our country and you say, but it's not that. It's something inside that the egoic nature is easily disturbed. If you rock the boat a little bit, he's disturbed, you know, and then he wants to attack you, like, leave my life alone, and yet you need so much that your boat is tipped and toppled over. And so if one knows that sometimes it doesn't, you're not going to be good enough that everybody loves you. As I said before, there's never been a being in the history of any universe who has been loved by everybody, and that includes God. Not even God is loved by everyone. So something inside, just in the force of life, that plays as opposite, you know. And it doesn't really need a reason, it just comes out because this is the realm of interrelated opposites. So if there's joy, there will be some sorrow and stuff, and you cannot just sieve it out and just take all the bad bits out, what you think is the bad bits, because very often the bad bits lead to good bits, and the so-called good bits, because it's so much subjective. It's not inherently bad anything or inherently good anything in the phenomenal sense, you know. So it is our perception that make them, and that is also shaped by conditioning and so many other factors. Some of them are untraceable, actually. If we can accept that our world does not have to make sense. Sometimes it will make sense, the same things will make sense, other times don't make any sense, you know. If you're okay with this, that you don't require or demand or, you know, that the world is a certain way so that you can be a certain way, because that is really a very strong, leads to a very strong sense of suppression and frustrations, and which quickly turn to judgments, which then flow into, you know, the aggressiveness. We don't have to look very far to see the outcome of when we are not sitting right inside ourselves. And what is this not sitting right? It means that too much attention is given to our personal sense of self, the inhibited self, the fictional self, as I call it now, and believing that its thoughts are true, its feelings are true. And when you're in this state, it's very difficult to deny that your feelings are true. They feel very real. They feel like they're flowing through your, like blood in your veins, and they're in the lungs. It feels so intimate, even one, you may say. But on deeper reflection and bringing your attention back to the starting place of attention, and then behind the starting place of attention, and by this I mean that whereby even the movement of attention is also perceived. When that is really clear and acknowledged to itself, you know, then you are in a boundless and unbound space of being. And this anybody can do. You see, this is the beautiful thing about what is pointed to through non-dual pointing, you know, is that I say this is the tree that bears immediate fruits. Because what I'm pointing is not a creative outcome. It's not that you must create something and then, you know, you get there. So some people are better at creativity, they're more artistic than others. Not like this, not creative. It's simply a recognition that takes place to what is ever present in everyone. So it is there. Then the question may be asked, if it is there, why is it so rarely perceived, is it? And I can only answer that right now by saying that it is not perceived, partly because the consciousness that we are presently might be invested in its self-portrait as a person. When it is invested in its self-portrait as a person, you see, is dedicated to that image, the person is a vulnerable state, insecure state, and so the consciousness is converted away from its universality and is condensed into this kind of, this very intense psychological entity. And so this is the beginning for me of suffering. And the way out of suffering, I cannot say what triggers that. I'll have to use the word grace here, because grace is very much at the heart and the center of our life. But we don't recognize her, you see. And it is like, I heard someone say, like missing the elephant in the room. It's here, but like you don't see, like you cannot see. That all your life, your breath, your ability to think and feel is all the flow of grace, the vital force, the love and presence of God, or truth, if you want to use to say. I don't have a distinction between the God and the self, the truth, whatever. I see that largely these are terms that are over-exaggerated or seen with the fragmenting mind, so they seem like they're distinct things. But there's no things, actually. At the highest state of consciousness, there's no things. There's just what is, and it is there before things. It is not a thing. How would we know such that? How would we know this? You don't need to go any step away from right where you are. If you have to learn to look inwardly, the person looks outwardly because it perceives itself to be a form and it looks outwardly. But the self, somehow, as you're coming into a deeper understanding, your attention is more interned, and you can observe your emotions and feelings and so on like that, until you find that even your interned attention is almost, you can say, external to a deeper seeing. And when you come to this deeper seeing, then all I'm trying to convey right now will be automatically and spontaneously revealed in yourself. It may take some time, but it comes without blood, sweat, and tears. It's revealed through, just like the flower emits a certain fragrance, and then out of the self emits the fragrance of peace and wisdom